welcome to the Galactic Mind Weather Report. So for those following the weather report, you'll know that we've just closed off 13 days of the Blue Night wave spell. And that wave spell was all about evolving our capacity to dream, to stay connected to this higher dreaming, and to reclaim the piece of that collective dream that belongs to each of us individually. And that's what we're here to bring into manifestation. And today, we now enter into the 13-day wave spell of the Yellow Warrior. And this archetypal energy is here to help give us the challenges and the support mechanisms to help us find the courage and the fearlessness to take the path towards our dream and to find the path and to not surrender. Now, what often happens when we feel connected to this dream, we've had these great experiences, we feel like, wow, I know where I'm going, I know where I'm headed, I can feel it in my heart. Very quickly, there's often a come down when we come back to real life, when we kind of suddenly get hit with some kind of conflict or something that says, that's your dream, but it's not your reality of where you are now. And so suddenly opens up this vast chasm of time and space between where you are now and where you feel you belong and where you feel your higher capacity is for you and the collective. You know, this idea that we can live in a world with peace and abundance, it feels like an impossible dream that is, so far away. And then the mind starts logically trying to work out, how can I get from here to there? And when the mind logically tries to work it out, it gets anxious, it gets overwhelmed, it just feels hopeless. And when we as humans begin to feel hopeless, we begin to feel stuck and overwhelmed, then one of the reactions that often happens is we look outwardly, we look externally for someone else to tell us how we can get there. How can we get to that dream? And so in exchange for that guidance, our world often demands our sovereignty. Our governments, our teachings, all different places, and even spiritual teachers often ask for your commitment to them, to follow them, and then they will give you the guidance. And that has worked. That has worked in really tough times when we're challenged as a society. Sometimes we needed those dictators to take the lead. But we live in times now where we don't have that same problem. We don't have that same scarcity, at least in our Western societies. And for people like us that are watching these videos, it's no longer real life dangers that are stopping us from rising up and stepping forwards. So when we allow the outside world to tell us what to do, we are giving our power away and often finding ourselves walking a path that belongs to somebody else. And what you'll find is it probably doesn't even actually lead to your dream, it leads to their dream. And it's not that anyone's doing this on purpose, and it's not their responsibility to stop you from following their advice, because it comes down to each of us individually to rise up and reclaim our own inner sovereignty, our power, our authority to decide where I will go next. So this Yellow Warrior wave spell, it's all about evolving your capacity to be your own pathfinder, to fearlessly question with intelligence where you are going, where you've come from, and where you are now. And so the vision that kind of comes up for me when I think about this theme that we're working on for this 13 days is, as if you were walking on a rickety bridge across a big chasm. It's intimidating, right? You've seen it in the movies, I'm sure. You've got two big cliff faces and this rickety old bridge. There's bits of wood missing and it's swaying a little bit in the wind, and it's intimidating. Now, that's kind of what life is like right now. You're on one side, and on the other side, you can see it's closer than ever. You can smell it. You can taste your dream. It is so close. But you still need to get across this rickety bridge. And the Yellow Warrior archetype that is being evolved in all of us right now for the next 13 days is about evolving the courage, the fearlessness to take one step at a time. So that means walking up to this bridge and looking for what seems in that moment, in this moment, not what you think will be okay tomorrow, not what was okay yesterday, but right now, standing at this bridge, which one of these steps ahead looks the safest and the most promising? And then you become fearless in taking that one step onto the bridge. And then once you've taken that step, the yellow warrior listens and pays attention. Is that a safe step? Okay. Is this bridge going to hold my weight? Okay. Now, from this step that I'm on, what are my next options? And then the yellow warrior is fearless in questioning the benefits and downfalls of each step. That step looks rickety, it looks a bit moldy, it looks like it might break under my weight. That one, it looks around, has a look. And the warrior, if it's going to be a true fearless warrior, needs to always consider, should I take one step backwards? And that's the downfall of this archetype, is sometimes it is unwilling to step backwards because it feels like a failure. The warrior doesn't like feeling like it's failing or giving up. But sometimes taking a step backwards is actually taking a step forwards. Sometimes we find ourselves in dead ends in life. We took a step and there's a lesson in that step if we're willing to own it and acknowledge it. And the next step is backwards. But what happens is we become stubborn. We don't want to be failures. We don't want to go backwards. We get scared, we get paralyzed, and we just keep on going forwards down the wrong path. So this is all about fearlessly questioning whether you're on the right path or not, whether this path resonates with your heart's intelligence. That's that feeling you get when you know you're in the right place. And so as you're walking across this rickety bridge towards your dreams, that is life, take one step, test it, put your weight into it, commit to that one step, and then see if it holds your weight. And then look at the next step. But do not look halfway down the bridge and try and work out if every step along this bridge is going to be strong enough before you take one step. That's where you get paralyzed in life. When you look ahead and think, how do I get from here to there? It's like if you want to be a doctor. How all the study, all the work, all the effort, don't focus on that. Just think, okay, so I want to be a doctor. I want to help learn about medicine. I want to help people. Say that was my goal. That was my dream. Then I need to think, what's the first step? The first step is not graduating from university. The first step is not operating on somebody. The first step isn't even applying for university. The first step is starting to pay more attention to doctors, to do some research, look online. It's very low risk. It doesn't take much risk. It costs no money at all. You can start talking to some doctors, find some people, find some forums. There's so much I could do that costs me nothing, except my time and energy, to investigate this pathway and this next step before I take the next step. And so in doing that, I'll make sure that I'm in a good place to take the next step, which might be applying for a university, or who knows what the next step is. I wouldn't know until I've done the first step of that investigation. So what I'm trying to say here is that whatever your dream is, there is a step available to you right now that costs no money, that won't be any high risk, that will be one step closer to your dream that you can take now. But you need to be willing to stop looking at how you're going to get all the way across that bridge and just start with that one step. And when you've started there, trust that your hero's journey will unfold the pathway for you. And sometimes there will be surprising events happen. For example, a great pterodactyl comes out of the sky and picks me up from the middle of the bridge and takes me across. Who would have ever expected that in this story, right? But here it is. Now, life also comes with those surprises. There are miracles that happen out of nowhere. There's shortcuts that will turn up. But the only way you're going to come across those turn-ups and the only way you're going to come across those shortcuts and find your way across that bridge any quicker is if you are going calmly, focused, and fearless in each moment, paying close attention to what happens around you with each step. Watch how the environment responds to you. Watch how you respond to the environment in every change you make in your life. And then respond in that moment. And the more you can develop that ability, the more that synchronicity can guide you powerfully. And the more that you will find yourself going effortlessly through your hero's journey, you will find the challenges that turn up, the dragons you have to fight and slay, become exquisite adventures that you just thrive on instead of feeling a victim of. And it takes time. So forgive yourself for any mistakes along the way. We are all human. We are all making mistakes. And allow yourself to forgive the people around you for making mistakes. And more importantly, allow yourself to be forgiven for making mistakes. And be willing to continue to make mistakes. Be willing to continue to push and try new ways, to be ashamed, to feel all these things that will happen because you're human, and for everyone it'll be different. Allow all of those spectrums of emotions to be okay, but just let them pass through and then take another step. Take another step. And as long as you are being fearless in your questioning and honest with your heart to yourself, you will develop the strength it takes, the courage and the fearlessness to listen to your heart all the way. And so if you're in Perth, Western Australia, then please check out the link below. It's markbentley.live/meet the gene keys. I'm running a live workshop. It's super exciting on this Sunday, actually, at a place to just be in East Fremantle. And it is the perfect workshop to be coming to during the wave spell of the Yellow Warrior. It's also my personal wave spell. I'm born as a blue self-existing storm. That's the 4th day of this wave spell. So my job is to be a catalyst to help crack open where you might be stuck in finding your way along your hero's journey, along your warrior's path. So super excited for this weekend. So if you are in Perth, WA, please check that link out and come along. It'll be great fun to meet you all. So much love. In Lakesh.